Welcome back, America. Governor Greg Gianforte represents the Big Sky State. He leads the Big Sky State. Good morning, Governor. Welcome back to the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Hugh, it's good to be with you.
Governor, have you got military bases up there? Do you have any military up there?
We do. That's why we have the spy balloon fly over here. Malmstrom Air Force Base. We also have the base for C-130 transport operation. And, of course, we have our National Guard that operates both an Air Wing and Army.
The reason I ask is because your colleague, the guy who succeeded you in Congress, I think, Matt Rosendale, voted against the Defense Appropriation Rule this week. What in the world is wrong with him?
Hugh, when I was in Congress, I always worked to make sure. I think one of the primary purpose of our federal government is national defense. And I always voted for it. I think that this is why this southern border issue is such a big deal. We've had our National Guard down on the southern border for the last year helping Customs and Border Patrol because they are not funded properly, nor do they have the tools they need to secure our southern border.
Well, we can't get anything done until we get appropriations passed. Have you talked to him about this? Because I don't know Matt Rosendale. I know he wants to be senator. He's not going to be senator. I think you had a better candidate out there. You can tell us about that. But have you talked to him about this? Because he cannot be helping Montana with this.
You know, I endorsed Tim Sheehy for that Senate seat. He's a Navy SEAL. His wife is a Marine. He loves his country. He's had a life of service. Started a business here in Montana, significant. Took it public. He's been very philanthropic. He helped us start a Tier 1 trauma center at a local hospital through his personal philanthropy. I think Tim Sheehy would serve us very well in the Senate.
All right. Now, who asked you to send the National Guard to the border, Governor?
This was done in conjunction with the Pentagon. This was something we've seen the effects of this open border policy of the Biden administration here in Montana. We have Mexican cartels operating, and I've made 3 trips down to the southern border, and I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been down in southern Arizona, and then this most recent trip, Southern California. And the nature of the problem, Hugh, has changed dramatically over the last 3 or 4 years. On my prior 2 trips, we were mostly seeing day laborers from Central America. On this last trip, I was in the facility in Yuma. There were 3,500 center. That was just 2 days of apprehensions. And no longer were these just Central American migrant day laborers. CBP told me when I was there in that facility, 140 nationalities represented. Native Russians, Chinese, Eastern Europeans, all over Africa, and they're not day laborers. These people have means, and just since Joe Biden has entered office, we've had 5.8 million people apprehended at the southern border. They're now loose in the United States, and they showed me a map when I was in that detention center, and there was a dot over almost every town and city in the United States where CBP had placed these illegal migrants into our communities. It's got to stop. This is a problem of the Joe Biden's making, and we need him to fix it. That's why I sent this letter to Joe Biden this week, along with half of the governors in the country, very simply to say, listen, tell us who these people are. Let's collaborate and work together. They fingerprint them, they take pictures, and then they release them into our communities. You know what country they've come from? We want to know their asylum status so that we can be good partners in managing the safety of our communities.
But, Governor, there's nobody home at the White House. Have you figured that out yet? There just isn't anybody running anything. Secretary Mayorkas doesn't appear to know what's going on either. I just don't think anybody's home.
Well, right is right. We have an open border policy. It's a disaster. We confiscated more fentanyl in the first half of this year in Montana than all of last year.
Wow.
And that was a record year. And these 5.8 million people, that's more than 5 times the entire population of Montana. Now these people are on the loose in the United States. So right is right. By joining together with half of the governors in the country and making a very simple request, which is tell us who these people are and what their asylum status is. It doesn't seem unreasonable to me.
It's not unreasonable. I read the story in the New York Times yesterday about the 13-year-old boy who nearly lost his arm in the Purdue chicken facility in, I think it was South Carolina. There are 85,000 miners missing. They have no idea what happened to them.
Well, I will tell you that when I was there in that CBP facility in Yuma over the summer, they know where they went because when they induct them, when they enroll them into the U.S. benefits system, and they do that with every single one they apprehend, they record identifying information, they record what country they came from, they record their asylum request, and then they put them on a bus or an airplane, they ship them someplace. They have a record of that. All we're saying is, if you send them to our communities, we want to know about it. And
that's a very reasonable demand, Governor. Good luck with that. Good luck with getting through to your congressman as well, Matt Rosendale. It's not good for the country that we haven't got a defense approach or a homeland security approach. It just isn't. And I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know what they're doing. And hopefully you can talk some sense into your colleague from Montana. That concludes today. Thank you, Governor Greg Gianforte of Montana.